Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Finding Light with me, Brad Carr. I'm very excited about this new project that's been brewing in my mind for the past week or so. Actually longer if I think about the amount of time I've actually been wanting to start a podcast. It's probably 2 years or so, but this came to me, little download of information came into my head when I was trying to get to sleep on Wednesday night. And it was this idea to begin, to start, to do what it is that I want to do and find the way once I've stepped foot out on it. So this is me stepping foot on the way and hoping that some kind of direction comes from it. I made some plans at 12 o'clock on Wednesday morning, so 12 midnight, when I couldn't sleep. I filled my journal up with a load of questions that I want to pose to my guests, to the world. They're based on things that I've asked myself over the past few years along my creative, spiritual journey, to kind of figure myself out and make sense of this life. So I scripted a little piece that I'm about to read to you right now. So this was born at 12 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday night. About 5 years ago, I began to awaken to my full potential as a human being. I picked up a camera and began to express my truest self. I started to disregard the opinions of the people that I had around me at the time who were projecting their own fears and limiting beliefs onto me, and in many ways holding me back from being that true self. I started to ask questions about who I was. Was I me, or was I what I believed to be me, based on the things that have been projected onto me throughout my life so far? To say that the past 5 years has been a journey would be an understatement. It isn't one that can be measured by the amount of miles travelled, because this has been a journey into myself. To quote the great John Muir, I only went out for a walk and finally concluded to stay out till sundown, for going out, I found, was really going in. The trees have taught me many things about who I am and who I am not. Maybe I should substitute the word who for what, because who would be to give this thing an identity, when in many ways that is exactly what I'm trying to lose. By picking up the camera, I can't help but feel as though I'm tuned into something beyond myself. The very act of creativity, I believe, is the closest that we can get to God, whatever that word means to you. To me, it's whatever that thing is that stands beyond me in the physical form. It's what pulls me to create. It's what fills me with an unexplainable energy to draw up plans to start this podcast at 12 a.m. on a Wednesday night. It's what forces me into action when things get tough and keeps me putting one foot in front of the other, even when the way is unclear and darkness descends. It is what sends people across my path with messages and signs for which way to turn next. It's what has led me here, the only place that I really need to be. So it is that right here, I do the very thing that I've been thinking about doing for years, and I open up my throat chakra and release my voice into this world. I hope that you find value in some of the conversations that take place on here. I hope that you agree with some things and disagree with others. I'll be running a series of solo episodes about my own journey, and I'll share many stories and thoughts about light, life, and landscape. I'll also be asking other people many of the questions that I've been asking myself over the past few years since I woke up from my long sleep and began realizing my potential. To hold on to my thoughts and feelings any longer would be a selfish act, and I feel an unrelenting urge to share my curious mind with the world. I hope that this can be a platform to inspire growth. I'll be leading by example on that front by learning from every guest that makes an appearance. Maybe some of the questions and resulting conversations will help you live a deeper, richer, and more fulfilled life. Maybe the act of sharing my thoughts can help you feel a sense of connection and community, something that I feel is missing in the world at the moment. The podcast was born for many reasons, one of them being that I don't feel like photographers get enough respect for their creative abilities because everyone is a photographer nowadays. So I wanted to shine some more light in the direction of my peers and find out more about the people behind the pictures that I like to see. Another of my whys is to fight back against the impending doom of AI taking over the world. potentially making humans exempt and even further disconnected and depressed. I quickly realized that what makes humans different to machines is their ability to feel and to communicate emotions and tell real, honest and authentic stories. So it is with this that I'll welcome you to this community. I hope that you enjoy walking along this path with me and that you learn lots along the way. So that's a little bit from, my script that I wrote the other night. Now I kind of just want to talk a little bit more freely, a little bit more openly and just authentically, I guess, about what it is that I want to do with the podcast. So I've always had a desire in me to kind of inspire other people to live a deeper and richer life. Really, I kind of have been using photography as a vehicle really to accrue lots of wisdom. I love to study nature and lots of philosophy to help to build myself as a human. And then I write over on my website's journal whenever inspiration strikes really, and share some of the lessons that I've learned from being outdoors and from the creative pursuit that I've been on. And I figured that, there's a wealth of knowledge inside of me and a wealth of experience that I've picked up from just 5 years. And, there's thousands, millions of photographers out there in the world who each of them have equally as important and relevant information and wisdom. And I figured that I would use what I've learnt to tap into some of those minds as well, as a way of learning myself, but also as a way to share what we have all learnt along our way so far, because I'm kind of in the mindset of giving back at the moment, and I feel like I'm not a young boy anymore. I'm a man now, and I feel like it's a man's duty to help other people and to bring other people up along on their journey so far. And I guess I'm doing what I feel like I can do with the resources that I have. I love getting to know other people's stories. I've been kind of getting to know lots of interesting people over the past year or so, and it's just fun to dig into their minds and to follow their abstract ways of thinking and pick up on some of these things. And I realized that people have told me that I have a way of kind of extracting things from them that they don't normally share with other people. So I figured that it's time that I made use of my superpower, if you like, to get people to open up and talk honestly, authentically, and vulnerably, if that's a word. I feel like that's something I have the ability to do, is to talk in that way. So I figured that people might learn from that within me and be able to give me some of that for themselves. And it could lead us to some very interesting places, I think. So this is Finding Light, and I hope that it can shine some light into your world and help people to find their own source of light as well. Light meaning purpose, love, joy, all of the good stuff that we don't see enough of when we turn on the news and when we look at the newspapers and, listen to conversations on the street. It tends to be darkness, negativity, all of that kind of stuff. So I want this to be something good for the world, and who knows where it's gonna go. So thank you for tuning in, and I'm gonna bring you episode 2 soon, which is a little bit more about my journey. I'm gonna share who I am and be a bit more kind of open with you guys so you can get to know me better, because I realized at the moment I'm just a person hiding behind photos. I don't show any of my long curly hair to the world anymore, and I've kind of missed doing things like YouTube and Instagram videos and things like that. So I want to open up and tell you a bit more about my journey, my story, and then hopefully give something for people to look to what they're going to kind of let themselves in for when they come on my podcast. So hope to see you guys soon, and thank you again.